Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we're one of my favorite little spots outside again, even though it's a little chilly.
And it's getting dark.
And it's getting dark. So
it's not even 4 o'clock.
Yeah, 3:45. So we'll we got a little puppy here. So we'll do a little reading, and get through this purport and finish. Okay, where are we?
Canto 4, Chapter 9, Text 29. Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So I'll just read the verse again so you remember, but then we'll jump into
the middle of the purport.
Yeah. So the verse was, Maitreya answered, Dhruva Maharaj's heart, which was pierced by the arrows of the harsh words of his stepmother, was greatly aggrieved. And thus, when he fixed upon his goal of life, he did not forget her misbehavior. He did not demand actual liberation from this material world, but the end of his devotional service, when the Supreme Personage of Godhead appeared before him, he was simply ashamed of the material demands he had in his mind. So then I'm just going to jump to the middle of the purport. The paragraph starts, the great sage Maitreya, if you're following in the book. So the great sage Maitreya explained that Dhruva Maharaj did not desire in the beginning to engage in the service of the Lord, but he wanted an exalted position better than his great-grandfathers. This is more or less not service to the Lord, but service to the senses. Even if one gets a position of Brahma, the most exalted position in this material world, he is a conditioned soul. Srila Prabhupada Saraswati says that if one is elevated to real, pure devotional service, he considers even great demigods like Brahma and Indra to be on an equal level with an insignificant insect. The reason is that an insignificant insect has a desire for sense gratification, and even a great personality like Lord Brahma also wants to dominate his material nature.
This material nature.
Oh, yes. Okay. So just to stress on the point that Dhruva, in the beginning, he was upset. So he wasn't desiring something for the greater good for him or anyone else. It was just, look, I need to get even. I'm really angry and I'm really upset. And that's where he was with his feelings and his needs. But to be fair, he went to the Lord. Like when his mum said go to the forest and meditate, that's what you're supposed to do. Narada Muni turns up. He does. And that shows credit, good credit on his part, because he could have said, buzz off, and I'm going to summon up a demon and I'm going to do this, which a lot of people do in the Bhagavatam. A lot of greater people than him qualified, and they still do it. So so to be fair, he said, okay, I'll do that then, and he did it.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting that Prabhupada Saraswati says that if one is elevated to real pure devotional service, he considers Brahma and Indra to be on the same level as an insect. I mean, it's a little harsh. Okay. Sense gratification means domination over material nature. The whole competition between conditioned souls is based upon domination of this material nature. Ain't it true? And don't we see it in the world around us? Modern scientists are proud of their knowledge because they are discovering new methods to dominate the laws of material nature. They think that this is the advancement of human civilization. The more they can dominate the material laws, the more advanced they are. Dhruva Maharaj's propensity in the beginning was like that. He wanted to dominate this material world in a greater position than Lord Brahma. Therefore, elsewhere it is described that after the appearance of the Lord, when Dhruva Maharaj thought and compared his determination to his final reward, he realized that he had wanted a few particles of broken glass, but instead had received many diamonds. As soon as he saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face, he immediately became conscious of the unimportance of his demand from the Lord to have an exalted position better than Lord Brahma's. So this actually, I've noticed that this is, we haven't come across this verse yet, and I think it's more in the purport than in an actual verse. In a verse, although I thought it was actually a verse for many years. But this, whenever I think of the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj, what really stands out to me is the mood of Dhruva Maharaj after the Lord appears before him, and his mood or consciousness is that I thought that I was going for the real jewels, by asking for a planet all my own, and to, as Prabhupada says here, to dominate over the material energy. But now that I've seen you, I realize that you're the real jewel, and all I was hoping, all that I wanted was actually equivalent to just like pieces of broken glass. So for me, that's always such a significant mood, how something can seem so valuable, but when placed next to the invaluable Supreme Lord, it just becomes like broken glass, useless.
Yeah, it reminds me of like time and, how people get worked up, politics issues. I was just thinking like time and time again, I've experienced some people over some years, you meet them again and they've apologise, or it's cool, it's the tension's over or whatever. And you think at the time it was like a horrible situation and whole life is affected and that. And in time just like you think, I don't feel anything. I'm in with the same people, environment. Yes, it's important like that to focus on what's important now. Like to realise constantly, I should say, what's important now, because we get really constantly swept away, It's not that a one-time thing. Well, not for those who ain't pure devotees, it ain't a one-time thing. You have to constantly remind yourself, no, pull back here.
Nice point.
When Dhruva Maharaj became situated on the Vasudev platform, due to seeing the Lord face to face, all his material contamination was cleared. Thus he became ashamed of what his demands were and what he had achieved. He was very much ashamed to think that although he had gone to Madhuvan, giving up the kingdom of his father, and he had gotten a spiritual master like Narada Muni, he was still thinking of revenge against his stepmother and wanted to occupy an exalted post within this material world. These were the causes for his moroseness, even after he received all the desired benedictions from the Lord. Nice. That's the same what we were saying, because he went to Madhuvan, not an ordinary place. He got Narada Muni as a spiritual master, not just any old yogi. And still he was throwing his toys out the pram and saying, "Now I want to avenge my stepmother for what she did," and you realise, like you're saying, that you had, what was it? Glass.
You had broken glass, yeah.
Yeah, and so he's regretting, wow, what a silly wally I was.
What's it? Cubic zirconia or something like that. I think it's not actually a diamond, it's just cut glass. Cubic zirconia, but it looks like a diamond. When Dhruva Maharaj factually saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there was no question of a revengeful attitude towards his stepmother, nor any aspiration to lord it over the material world. But the Supreme Personality is so kind that he knew that Dhruva Maharaj wanted these. Speaking before Dhruva Maharaj, he used the word Vedaham, Because when Dhruva Maharaj demanded material benefits, the Lord was present within his heart and so knew everything. The Lord always knows everything a man is thinking. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Vedaham samatitani. Vedaham samatitani. Where is that? If you know where that verse is, please put it in the messages below. So, yeah, he used the word Vedaham samatitani. Vedaham samatitani. Yeah.
Final paragraph in the purport. The Lord fulfilled all Dhruva Maharaj's desires. His revengeful attitude towards his stepmother and stepbrother was satisfied. His desire for a more exalted position than that of his great-grandfather was also fulfilled, and at the same time his eternal position in Dhruva Loka was fixed. Although Dhruva Maharaj's achievement of an eternal planet was not conceived of by him, Krishna thought, what will Dhruva do with an exalted position within this material world? Therefore, he gave Dhruva the opportunity to rule this material world for 36,000 years with unchangeable senses, and the chance to perform many great sacrifices, and thus become the most reputed king within this material world. And after finishing with all his material enjoyment, Dhruva would be promoted to the spiritual world, which includes the Dhruva Loka. As I said before, what a win-win. Cheapest.
And how is it a win-win? How do you see win-win?
I'm just speaking for everyone else, but...
Speaking for everyone else, okay. Everyone else, you're all happy with that? You want her as your spokesperson? Is that what you want?
It's like he gets to live an extremely long life in an exalted position and have good material facility and just feel, be comfortable, it sounds, and at the end of it, it's not like he goes to the heavenly planets because he wants to do that. No, he goes back to the spiritual world, like his little planet, his little loka. He doesn't even leave his home. When you die, you have to leave your comfortable home, or when you move house or move country, but he gets to stay in his planet. He doesn't have to change his planet, and that's within the unchangeable realm of the spiritual world. So that's a win-win, my dear.
Okay.
My dear Dhruva, I mean.
My dear Dhruva.
Little Dhruva.
For our dear Dhruva.
Yeah, that's quite a win-win, no? That's what I'm going to say. And because even though when he's enjoying materially, Prabhupada says here, with unchangeable senses, so he doesn't lose his mind, and then remember Krishna at the end, he's nicely situated, his senses are not going to drive him nutty, as it were. So, yeah, it's a win-win all round.
Amazing. Yeah. I guess, what do? Do we use Dhruva Maharaj as an example that, yes, it's better to go to the Lord for our material desires, or do we try to steer clear of any material desires and aspirations? And if we do have them, not go to the Lord? What do you think?
No, I think we should go to the Lord for everything. Because I'm not quite sure who else can assist us in all ways. If that makes sense.
Yes.
And assist like in a well-wishing way. Because I'm just thinking like a parent, a good parent. Like my parents are good parents. I'm just saying. So it's like there was an understanding, you're going to be sheltered, you're going to be looked after. They might have a go at you and do your heading, but from a financial point of view, from a security, sheltered point of view, comfort, food, whatever, there was never any lacking feeling. That makes sense. And I think, so I'm trying to project that to Krishna, to God, that even if he rebukes you, because why are you being so silly, It's at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. So why are you being so silly? But either way, there's no one who's a better well-wisher than God. And if he's going to rebuke you, do it because you need that medicine and you'll appreciate it as well. Why was I being silly? Why was I chasing that thing? Or why was I wasting my life doing that? Either way, Whereas someone who's fallible might be like, tell you something, go for your dreams, or no, don't go after her, she's no good, and then you end up by yourself and think, why did I listen to that person? Because they're not perfect, they don't know what they're talking about either. That's what I mean, just go to Krishna, for everything. I mean, why not? It's not like you go to Krishna for one thing and then you go to some quack doctor for something else, astrology and all that stuff. I can bring that in without being controversial.
Akama sarvakamo va mokshakama udara dihi. And then it's, what is it? Bhakti yogena. If you know that verse.
Name that verse.
Name that verse and you can put it in the thing. You're just trying to drive engagement here.
Right.
But so akama, whether you have no desires, or sarvakama, you're full of desires, or mokshakama, you desire liberation. Whatever it is, Krishna says you should go to me. Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. That's it. Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. Something. Then the last verse. Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. Anyway, there you go.
There you go.
So we finished the purport. So next we'll start with a new
30.
verse. Yes.
That was 3 days it took to finish that. That's a long
3 readings. Thank you all very much. Please read the Srimad Bhagavatam. Hear and chant together. This is the most valuable thing in existence. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the Granth Srimad Bhagavatam.
Jai.